Session, be seated, please.
Would it be possible that when I was speaking about the witness granted immunity, that I may have said a grant of immunity means that the witness has not been ordered by a court to testify, or a grant of immunity means that the witness has been ordered by a court not to testify? If I said either of those things, it's wrong. A grant of immunity means that the witness has been ordered by a court to testify and cannot be prosecuted for an account of any matter about which he has testified, except for perjury, while the witness is testifying in court. You may proceed.
Excuse me, I would call Kumar Singh, Your Honor, as our next witness.
Please face the clerk and raise your right hand.
You solemnly swear that your testimony will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
Please be seated.
Your Honor. Thank you. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
I'm going to ask you just to keep your voice up so we can hear you.
Okay.
Could you state your full name, please?
Kumar Singh,
Could you spell your first name
Kumar
and your last name, sir?
Singh,
Sir, how old are you?
46,
And where are you from?
Belgrade, Florida.
Okay. And were you born in this country or outside of the country?
No, I was born in Guyana,
And where's Guyana?
South America.
Okay. And when did you come to this country?
I came in 1986. I came to
And-
New York City.
And after coming to New York City, eventually did you settle in Florida?
I lived in New York from 1986 to 1999.
Okay. And then in 1999, did you move somewhere?
I moved to Florida.
Okay. And have you been in Florida since that time?
Yes, sir.
Sir, do you work?
Yeah, I do mechanic work and I work on boats
Okay. How long have you been doing that?
all my life.
And when you describe boat work, what type of boat work do you do?
I do fiberglass engineer and fabrication, paint work,
And what type of boats do you work on?
big yachts.
Okay. And you also indicated you do some mechanical work.
Yeah, I do mechanic work. I work for a shop in Belgrade.
Okay. And what type of work is that? What do you work on?
I work on motor, transmission, anything have to be done really on a car.
Okay. And how did you learn to be able to work on cars?
I was born and raised within cars, so I learned that trade.
Okay. And have you been consistently employed working on cars through the course of your adult life?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, in the last number of years, did you work for a particular mechanic shop in Belgrade?
Yes, sir.
And what was the name of the shop?
Fix It Right, auto repair.
Okay. And who was the owner of that shop?
George Sanford.
Excuse me. And was there also another mechanic who worked there?
Yeah, Oswald.
I'm sorry?
Oswald.
Okay. And do you know an individual by the name of Omar?
Yeah, Omar and George, they partner.
I see. Is Omar from Guyana as well?
He from Jamaica.
Okay. And did you work with Omar?
Yeah,
How long have you worked with Omar?
about 2 years.
And taking you back to the spring of 2013, were you working with Omar at that shop at that time?
Yes, sir.
And just tell us about the type of work that you were doing. What kind of cars were you working on?
I work on all kind of cars. I work on trucks, you know. I swap motor out. I do transmissions.
Okay. Do you do work, do you ever have occasion to, on your own, acquire a car and try and fix it up to sell it?
Yes, sir. I bought like cheap cars and fix them up, you know, when I have time. And when I finish, I put them to sell.
Okay. And how long have you been doing that, sir?
A long time, a very long time.
Okay. Back in sometime in the spring of 2013, do you recall buying an older model Toyota?
Yes, sir.
And who did you buy that from?
I bought it from a lady in Florida, in Loxahatchee, Florida.
Okay, and how far is that from Belle Glade?
About 30 miles.
Okay. And did you have some connection or acquaintance with this woman or somebody in her family?
Yeah, because it had a flood, and we normally fix their car. She called us to go look at the car for her, and I seen this car in her yard, so then I asked her if she's selling it. She told me it's her son's car. She got to ask him first before she sell it to me.
Okay.
She called me later on and tell me, yeah, I could come get it.
Okay. And as a result of that, did you go get the car?
Yes, sir.
And just what kind of shape was that car in?
It was in bad shape. It needed a lot of parts.
Okay, and just tell us the model of that car. What kind of
It was
Toyota?
a 1998 Toyota Camry, light brown.
Okay. And when you said it needed certain parts, just tell us, what did you do with that car?
First of all, it needed a battery before I could have started. And I put an alternator, a starter. All the door handles was messed up in it. I fixed all that stuff in it. And then I put it for sale.
Okay. Now, did you transport this car from where you originally, where the woman owned or had it, her son had it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and where did you bring it?
I bring it to the shop, fix it right, auto repair.
Okay. And so Fix Right Auto Repair, where is that located in Belle Glade?
And Avenue A.
Okay. And is it in some location, is that on the roadway or near a roadway?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And when you fix up vehicles, do you essentially put them in a spot where they're visible, you know, so that people could see that they're for sale?
Yeah, like right in front of the shop.
Okay. And did you do that with regard to this Toyota?
Yes, sir.
Now, how much did you buy that car for?
$600.
And then obviously you had to do work, spend time working on it.
Yeah.
Did you have to acquire any parts?
Yes.
And did that cost you money?
Yes, sir.
And as a result of the work that you did and the parts that you had to buy, did you then list it at a higher price?
Yeah, I listed for $1,800.
Okay. And how long, if you recall, after listing it for $1,800, did you put that out for sale?
About a couple of weeks.
And during that time, did anybody ask you or come by interested in the car?
Yeah, this guy, we was working on his vehicle, and he asked my boss if he have any car.
Objection sustained.
Did, excuse me, sir. Did somebody, sir, have a conversation with somebody at your work? Just yes or no?
Yes.
And as a result of that, did they then come over to speak to you?
Yes.
And who is that person?
Papu.
And when you say Papu, had you ever met him before that time?
I work on his car. I work in his mother car.
Okay, and when you say you worked on his car and you worked on his mother's car, what kind of car did he have prior to him talking to you on that?
He had a black Explorer Sport.
And when you say you had done work on his car, that had predated when you saw him on the occasion that you've described?
Yeah.
Okay, and what kind of work had you done on that black Explorer
I
Sport?
put a motor inside.
When you say you put a motor, is that a big
An
job?
engine. Yeah.
Okay. And what was the condition of the motor that was in it?
It wasn't running.
Okay. And as a result of doing work on that motor, did you have occasion to see the person who either dropped off or picked up that car?
Yeah.
And who was that?
Papu.
Okay. And you also indicated at some point you had done some work on his mother's car.
Yes, sir.
And did you ever have occasion to meet his mother?
Yes.
And do you know what her name is?
No.
Okay. On the occasions that you, or when you were able to meet her, where would you see her? Where did you first see her?
At the shop.
And did she drop her car off?
A tow truck brought it there.
Okay. And what kind of car was that?
A white Escalade.
And did you do work on that?
Yeah.
And what kind of work did you do?
I put a motor inside too.
And as a result of putting a motor in the black Explorer and the white Escalade, did they come and pick up the car?
Yes.
Did they seem happy with the work that had been done?
Yes.
Were there any, well, let me ask you this, later on, as a result of the work that you had done at the shop, did you continue to do other work for them?
Yes.
And just tell us about that. When did you do additional work for them?
They come to the shop and they said they need work to be done.
Okay.
And I told them I could do it on the side after work, so I went to the house and I worked on their vehicle.
Okay. And over what period of time from the first occasion that you met Papu and his mother, over what period of time did you service their cars, do work on their cars?
For quite a while.
And what, just if you can give us an estimate, is that months or years or?
About a year.
Okay. And how many occasions did you, well, let me go back to the Toyota. So when you had your Toyota, you said at some point somebody had come to speak to you about it?
Yeah. Yes.
And who was that, sir?
Papu.
Okay. And did you have a conversation, just yes or no, did you have a conversation with him about the Toyota?
Yes.
And at the time you were offering it for how much?
1,800.
And did he make you an offer?
Yes, sir.
And what did he offer you?
He offered me 15.
Okay. And did you agree to that?
Yes.
And as a result of agreeing to that, what happened to the Toyota?
He bought it from me.
And how did he buy it from you? How did he make payment?
He brought $1,500 bill and gave it to me, and I gave him the title and the keys.
Okay. When you say $1,500, was that in cash?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And as a result of that, what happened to the Toyota?
He didn't pick it up the same day. He picked up the next day. I wasn't there
Okay.
at that time.
Motion strikes loud.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. The day he gave you $1,500 cash, you gave him the title and the keys.
Yes.
Did he take possession of the car on that day?
No, the next day he come pick it
Oh,
up.
okay, so just that day he didn't. Is that
No.
true?
Yes.
Now, the very next day, at some point, did you come to work?
Yeah.
And when you came to work, was the car there or was it gone?
It was there.
Okay. And so at some point later on in the course of that day, did you leave?
Yes.
And then when you came back the next day after that, was the car there or gone?
The day he gave me the money, he came the next day and picked it up. I was there, but I left and went to the store and come back, and he came and get the car.
Okay, so the car,
Objection. Motion strikes loud.
okay, so you had been there, the day you sold the car, it was the following day, you still saw at some point, you saw the Toyota.
Yes.
And then at some point you went out,
Yes.
and when you came back, was the car gone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, after that date, did you have an occasion to get a call to do work at Papu's, on any of either Papu's cars?
Yes.
And how long after you sold him the Toyota? Like how many, do you know if it was some number of days?
After a couple of days after.
Okay. And as a result of receiving had he called you on the phone or had he stopped by?
He stopped by.
And did you have a conversation with him?
Yes.
And as a result of that, did you, at some point after work, did you go somewhere?
I went to his house
Okay.
for work on his car.
Okay, and when you said you went to his house and worked on his car, what car did you work on at that time?
His mother Escalade
Okay. And where was that car?
in the driveway.
And can you just describe that driveway for us? Or how does that appear?
It's a driveway with a canopy, a car canopy in it.
Okay. Have you ever referred to a canopy as a shade?
Yeah, it's shade.
Okay. And was the car underneath that or out some other place?
Under.
Okay. Did you see any other car underneath the canopy or
It
the
had
shade?
two other cars there.
Okay. And what other cars were there?
A Toyota Camry and a Ford 500.
Okay. So the Toyota Camry that you just mentioned being there, did you recognize that car?
Yeah, that's the car I sold to him.
Okay. And you said there was another car there,
Yeah,
and it was a Ford?
yeah.
And just describe that car.
It's an orange car with big rims on it.
Orange car with big rims?
Yeah,
What was the condition of that car?
good.
Okay? And do you know how new or old that car was?
Pretty new.
Now, as a result of going to the home on that day, did you then work on Papu's mother's car?
Yeah,
And that was the Escalade?
yes,
Now, just for, so it's clear, did you see the woman that you've described as Papu's mother? Have you seen her in the courthouse today?
yes.
Okay. And now, on that occasion, how long were you at Papu's house?
Couple hours.
Okay. And what kind of work were you doing on that date?
I did brakes.
And sometime during the course of the work there, the couple of hours that you were working, did you see Papu?
Yes,
Did you have a conversation with him?
yeah.
Now, during the course of that conversation, did he express some intention to do something with the car? Just yes or no?
Yes.
What did he say?
You may answer to the extent it was a statement of intent.
What did he say he intended to do with the car?
He bought it for a friend in college.
Okay. And did he express an intention about doing something?
Strike that response. The question is, did he indicate he intended to do something? You should disregard that response.
Okay, just with regard to, did he say he intended to do something with the car?
No,
Okay. Do you recall whether he had indicated whether he was going to send it somewhere?
he didn't tell me nothing about that.
Okay. Did you ever have a conversation on that subject matter?
No.
Okay. Now, at some point after this occasion, did you have other occasions to go back and do any further work on any cars?
Yes,
And when was the next occasion you went back?
I did a radiator in his black truck, the Explorer.
Okay, a radiator?
Yeah,
And what did you have to do with the radiator?
I had to change it, put a new one in.
Okay. And when you went back on that occasion to do work on the radiator, did you make any observations of any cars in the driveway?
Was the orange car in there?
I'm sorry,
The orange car, the Ford,
was that there or not there?
that was there.
Okay. What about the Toyota that you sold
It
Papu?
wasn't there.
Okay. Now, do you recall when approximately you sold the car to Papu?
I can't remember the exact date.
Okay. Do you remember the approximate time in terms of the spring of 2013?
Yeah,
Do you recall what month?
I think it was like in April.
Okay. And after the next occasion that you had gone back and you didn't see the Toyota, did you ever see the Toyota again?
No, sir.
Approach on. So I'm just going to show you 3 photographs, ask you if you recognize what's depicted in these photos.
Yeah.
Do you recognize this?
Yes, sir.
And what do you recognize to be?
The car I sold to Papu.
Okay. And does that show it in substantially the same condition
Yeah.
as when you sold it?
Yeah.
And offer these.
Objection.
Been marked as the next exhibit.
7A through C.
Thank you. If I could publish these, John. So I'm just placing 397, and I'll just have you look at the monitor to your left. Do you recognize that, that vehicle, sir?
Yes.
And what do you recognize this to be?
The car I sold to Papu.
Just going to show you this photograph. What does this photo depict? What does it show?
That's the same tag what I bought it from the lady. I sold the car with the same tag because she said she don't need it.
So when you purchased that car and you recovered it, did you ever take or change the tag?
No,
Did you ever register it?
no,
Okay. And as a result, when you sold it, did you sell it with the tag still on it?
yeah,
I'm just going to show you this last photograph. Do you recognize that, sir?
yes,
That's showing just a different angle of the same car.
yeah.
If I could have one moment, Your Honor, please. Now, at some time, sir, after the sale of the Toyota, in approximately the end of June 2013, were you contacted by somebody from a police department?
Yes, sir.
And at that time, were you interviewed regarding this Toyota?
Yes,
Okay, I don't know. I could have one moment, please. I can approach you in one, please. Sir, we want to go, I had shown you 397B, is that right? And I'm just going to show you what was previously marked 216B. Ask if you recognize the car that's in the foreground, the one in front of the picture. Do you recognize that, sir?
yes, sir.
And what do you recognize that to be?
The Toyota Camry I sold
You say the Toyota Camry you sold to whom?
to Papu.
And then just 216C, you recognize just this as a different angle?
Yeah,
With regard to the plate, is that the same plate that you left on it when you sold it?
yes,
Sir, did you ever Do you know Aaron Hernandez?
No.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Singh.
Good afternoon, sir.
You described this transaction with this Toyota Camry.
Yes.
Am I correct in understanding that you don't have any documents about that transaction?
No.
You don't have any documents about buying the car from the lady in Loxahatchee?
No.
And you don't have any documents about selling the car?
No.
And so you just saw some pictures of the car, and it had a license plate on there, correct?
Yes.
You don't remember what the license plate was when you bought the car from the lady in Loxahatchee, do you?
No.
And you don't remember what the license plate was when you sold the car?
No. It's a Florida license plate.
It was a Florida license plate, but that's all you can say.
Yeah.
Now, you were asked a question, did the police come see you sometime in June of 2013 and ask you some questions about the car?
Yes, sir.
And you told the police that you had sold the car to a Mexican.
Yeah.
And then later in the interview, you gave him the nickname that you used, Papu.
Yeah.
And you told the police that you thought you had sold the car sometime after your birthday. Is that right?
No, before my wife's birthday.
Do you have a birthday on May 18th?
Yeah.
You recall telling the police in a tape-recorded interview that you thought you had sold the car after your birthday, after May 18th.
I told them I didn't remember exact date I sold the car.
Yes. You told us you don't remember the exact date.
Yes.
Right? Do you remember being questioned about when you sold the car, when you were interviewed by the police for about an hour, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And they asked you when you had sold the car, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they asked you if you had any paperwork about it, right?
Yes.
And you didn't have any paperwork.
No.
And this was about June 26th or so, June 27th, late June,
I can't
when you were
remember.
interviewed by the police?
I can't remember the exact date.
Okay. But didn't you tell them that it had only been in mid-May that you had sold the car? You remember telling them that it was around the time of your birthday?
Yeah, I didn't remember exact time I sold the car.
So you pegged it, though, close in time to your birthday.
Yeah.
And then during the interview, the police called a little timeout. They went outside the room, and then they came back in, right?
Yeah.
And they told you that there was a problem with the date you had given them, right?
Yeah.
They said it couldn't have been May, right?
Yeah.
And is that what led you to say, well, it must be April?
Like I said, I didn't remember the exact date I sold the car. I didn't keep track of it.
And as you sit here today, you really don't know whether it was March or April or May. Is that fair?
It's between April and May.
April and May.
Yeah.
And that's the closest you can put it from your
Yeah.
memory.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, you do remember who you sold the car to?
Yes, sir.
And who was that?
Papu.
Okay. This is, do you recognize this individual?
Yes.
Who's that?
That's Papu.
And Mr. Rankin had asked you, if you described him as Mexican. Did you know
I
what
thought he
his-
was a Mexican.
Okay. And with regard to the paperwork, the title that you described, where does the title go when you sell a car?
When I bought the car, the lady signed the title, so I never signed it, so I sold it back just like that. It was already signed.
So what did you do with that paperwork? Who got that? Who did you give it to?
Papu.
Okay. Thank you. I don't have anything further.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
You may sit down.
Could we approach Your Honor, please?
There are no more witnesses today, so we're going to stop early again. Again, tomorrow is a half-day. I do believe there will be enough witnesses to take us through till our stopping point at 1 o'clock. Again, please keep your mind suspended. Continue to avoid anything about this case or Mr. Hernandez that could appear in any newspaper, radio, television, magazine, or any other form of media, or any social media, Facebook or Twitter. Please continue to avoid speaking or emailing, texting, or in any other way communicating with anybody about this case or your jury service, or anything you think could be relevant to the case. And if anyone starts communicating with you in any fashion, please end it immediately. Please do not do any research about this case or anything you think could be relevant to this case or Mr. Hernandez. Thank you.
He. All persons having anything further to do before the Honorable, the Justice E. Susan Gosh of the Superior Court, now sitting at Fall River within and for the Commonwealth, depart and give your attendance here tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., to which time and place the sitting of this court is now adjourned. God save the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Court is now adjourned.
The clerk to request that I get transcripts from either side. You already have them of what those pages of the recordings, other than ones in which Mr. Hernandez is a participant, that the Commonwealth was seeking to introduce. I understand that defense has objected to those in the entirety on hearsay grounds, but it would be helpful if the court actually sees what it is that the Commonwealth is trying to proffer. So it looks like you have those. Thank you, Mr. Murray. And the other is if there is still an issue as to certain videos, the formatting of videos, to the extent I need to hear anything about that, can we do that on Wednesday after we do the hearsay motion, so we don't take up time from the jury?
I think so, Your Honor. I've been waiting to hear from the Commonwealth what their plan is and to get copies of what they plan to do. And
so you don't have the copies yet?
No,
if as soon as that can be done, because I really don't, as long as we have some of this downtime unavoidable, but, like today where Commonwealth ran out of witnesses, if I could have ruled on something or heard something. So you really need to, A, give defense exactly what it is you're trying to get in, and B, maybe sit with them so they understand exactly what you've done, so they know whether they're objecting, and if so, the basis, and if we need to have any kind of a hearing.
Judge, I thought we had done that. We provided all of the clips or
why don't you just meet
to.
now, since we're stopping with Mr. Rankin, and just go over what it is you provided and what it is that I remember certain clips were provided last time. I don't know if there's anything other than those clips, but if the two of you could meet, and if he has any questions for your, Mr. said about how it was done, so if all that could get answered today, take some time today, if it could meet, that would be helpful, and then if we can address that issue on Wednesday along with the pending motion on the telephone calls.
If I just ask, Your Honor, is it all right with the court if all counsel are not here on Wednesday?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Just so, but we will be dealing with those two things.
Yes,
so whoever is, I would like to be able to deal with those two things. Yes, if you were not able to deal with the video, I understand that.
One is Mr. Fees and one is Mr. Rankin, so I've got other things to do. But that's all right.
Sure. Thank you. See you tomorrow.
All right.